The Minnesota Vikings, they didn't make any day three trades, which was kind of surprising to me, but they ended up making 5 selections between rounds 4 and 7 in this year's NFL draft. Now, here are my initial takeaways, my quick thoughts, and just kind of reactions on what they did earlier today. I'm probably going to make more in-depth, longer videos on each prospect down the road, but for now, here's just my quick thoughts. So here we go. Now, with the 108th overall pick in this year's draft, the Vikings selected Kyrie Jackson, cornerback, Oregon, a guy I actually did mock in my final Vikings mock draft heading, I think that was Wednesday or Thursday or something, but a 6'4" cornerback, pretty big for a cornerback, 24 years old. I think he was first team all Pac-12 this past season, which is really good because the Pac-12, that was a tough conference and a lot of offensive talent. So getting that accolade, that's something big time there in one of the tougher conferences last season. But the Vikings, they don't have a long-term plan, I would say, cornerback, especially on the outside. And so it's just not set in stone. But just by the glance of it, I think he can develop to being a quality starter for this team. Now, with the 177th overall pick in the 6th round, the Vikings take Walter Roos, offensive tackle from Oklahoma. Now, I actually like this pick because, in the draft, you're not really looking for starters. You're looking for more depth pieces, guys that can play special teams, etc. And if they turn out to be starters, then it's a big home run. But the Vikings, they have 2 really good, solid tackles, Christian Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill. But it's important to have that swing tackle, especially because O'Neill and Darrisaw, they've missed some times over these past few seasons. Darrisaw is eventually going to be going to a contract year. I expect him, though, to be signed. But, it's important to have depth at that position all over the offensive line and good talent, good depth as well. And, he was really good at Oklahoma. So, hopefully that pans out very well, and he could be a quality swing tackle for this team as they already have their strong tackle duo. Now, with the 203rd overall pick, this one's kind of a tough one. Minnesota Vikings go Will Reichert, kicker, Alabama. Now, I believe the past 2 kickers the Vikings have drafted from the SEC are Blair Walsh and Daniel Carlson. Now, if you're a Vikings fan, I don't really have to explain much there because those stories don't end with sunshine and rainbows. But Will Reichert, he's the FBS all-time scoring leader, I believe, one of the most accomplished kickers in college football history. He's kicked in some pretty big games. So he comes up in the big time there for Alabama. With the Vikings now, we now have a big time. Yeah, sorry about that. We have a big time QB and a big time kicker now. So, hopefully it plays out. There's going to be a kicking battle the next few months. I expect Reichert to win it out. And he's the guy that wins that job because, you use a draft pick on him, and all that. But big-time kicker, he's one of the most accomplished in FBS history. So let's hopefully that can pan out. Now, in the 7th round, I'm not going to touch too much on these guys because I personally don't know much about them. But I thought they would go perhaps running back or wide receiver. But they ended up taking Michael Juergens out of Wake Forest, interior offensive lineman. PFF actually graded him out as a really good interior offensive lineman. And then Luke Drake Rodriguez from Texas A&M Converse, 6'4", 290-pound plus defensive tackle. Briefly read on it before hopping on here. It says he has a good motor. So maybe, we have another John Randall situation or something. But, usually guys around this range, competing to make the roster. So, hopefully, this guy that can, surprise a lot of people, come in, make that final 53, 55, whatever it is. Now there was a couple, surprising UDFAs. I think the biggest one is Gabriel Murphy out of UCLA. He's the guy I mocked to the Vikings around like the 5th round, 6th round, something like that. But, he was high on a lot of big boards as an edge rusher. So was Andre Carter last year as well. So, but Gabriel Murphy, if there's another Ivan Pace Jr. situation for this team, it could be him. I don't know why he didn't go, higher around where he was projected. But also you have Dwight McLaughlin. I believe I was also reading that he had the 2nd highest PFF grade among quarterbacks last year, if I'm not mistaken. So, that hopefully maybe that could turn into something as well. But those were just 2 names that I saw from the UDFA class the Vikings have so far. So, very intriguing draft class this year. It was one of the most, like I said, probably highly anticipated drafts in Vikings history, mainly due to what their goals and intentions were the first night. But, it would be interesting to see how it plays out over the next few months, and hopefully some of these later round guys can pan out to be really good football players. Skol Vikes.